Ever feel like, you see those tabloid headlines about somebody famous and you're like, there's got to be more to the story.
Oh, absolutely. It's like you get these little snippets, but you never get the full picture, do you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So today we're going deep beyond the headlines into the life of Lisa Marie Presley.
And we've got some really fascinating source material to work with, right? Her memoir, From Here to the Great Unknown.
Yeah, you shared some articles about it, and I gotta say, it's clear this is about way more than just being Elvis's daughter.
It's about inheriting a legacy, dealing with like unimaginable grief,
hmm
and ultimately, how do you find resilience in the face of all that?
And what's cool about this deep dive is we're actually looking at another podcast that did a whole breakdown of this memoir. So it's like they already dissected it. Now what can Woody E add to the conversation?
That's what I love. It's those aha moments, the subtle stuff that
Yeah,
maybe you miss on the first pass.
totally. So the podcast starts off with Lisa Marie's childhood. I mean, can you imagine inheriting Graceland at 9 years old? 9.
It's almost impossible to wrap your head around. And it's not just Graceland, the place, right? It's everything it represents, the expectations, living in Elvis's shadow.
That weight on your shoulders from such a young age.
It really gives you a glimpse into what it's like for children of really famous people that struggle to be their own person.
And then it's not just the legacy. The memoir goes into the loss Lisa Marie experienced, losing her father so young, and then later her son, Benjamin, just heartbreaking.
Yeah, the podcast compared Lisa Marie's writing on grief to Joan Didion's The Year of Magical Thinking. And I can see it, that rawness, especially when it's under a microscope.
It's a good reminder that grief, as unique as everyone's experiences, there are these shared threads.
Absolutely, no matter who you are. But the memoir doesn't shy away from the tough stuff at all. Lisa Marie's struggles with addiction, her relationships, it's all there.
And I was curious, what did you think about how the podcast handled those parts of her life? Because it could have gone very differently.
I think they did a good job of not shying away from it, but also not sensationalizing it. It's more about, okay, this is a person who went through a lot, made some choices, and it's part of her story. You can't separate it.
It's about seeing the whole person, not just the headlines, right?
Exactly. And what I thought was really insightful was how they brought in the perspective of Lisa Marie's daughter, Riley Keough.
Oh, yeah. The memoir includes her voice, too, right?
Right. And I think that adds so much depth because it's not just Lisa Marie reflecting on her life, but also how her daughter saw things.
That generational perspective.
Exactly. And it's especially interesting now seeing Riley Keough navigating her own career as an actress. She's carving her own path, but that family legacy is always there.
And the podcast mentioned something that I think ties into this perfectly. They talked about how the memoir got a resurgence in popularity after Lisa Marie passed away, especially since Oprah picked it for her book club.
Yeah. Makes you wonder, is it just because people are, curious after someone dies? Or is there something more to it?
That's what I was thinking. Is it that we're drawn to stories about resilience, especially when someone's been through as much as Lisa Marie?
I think it's a bit of both, honestly. There might be that initial, oh, wow, what was her life really like? But I think it's also that we connect to those stories of resilience. It reminds us that even when life throws incredibly tough stuff at you, there's still that capacity for strength, for picking yourself back up.
So we've gone from Graceland at 9 years old to dealing with unimaginable loss to navigating a very public life with all its ups and downs.
It's about seeing beyond the Elvis's daughter label and recognizing Lisa Marie Presley as her own person with her own complex story.
Exactly. And I love that. So for everyone listening, here's something to think about. If Lisa Marie's story challenged our perceptions, what other stories are out there, famous or not, that can give us that deeper understanding of what it means to be human?
Because let's face it, everyone has a story. And those stories, even the tough ones, can teach us so much.
Couldn't agree more.